Southern California, yeah.
Born and raised our DNA. Laugh and cry to what we say. We hit you with that wordplay.
4053.
What episode are we on? D, they feeling like they be zombies, all dressed in Abercrombie.
SoCal DNA coming in live. 8 o'clock on a Wednesday night. COVID got you sitting inside. Why not sip one and free your mind?
Cheap thrills, popping pills, stack cash, spend it fast.
Listen to all of those lies as Arjun act like he's surprised.
Man, I probably should have brought this up earlier, but did I upload the last one?
Oh gosh, I think you did, but
Okay.
Unfortunately, I have to say, last one did not get too many views.
Oh.
Yeah.
You know what? And to be honest, that wasn't our best one. It felt good. It wasn't our best one. We could have been a little more controversial. You know, Arjun could have spit his truth. You know, caused a little uprising. I think we talked a little bit too much about cartoons in the beginning. I don't know.
What did we talk? Oh, we talked about that.
Look at
whole,
forgetful,
you know,
man.
I can't even remember.
Look at that. Okay, we apologize, or rather, I apologize on behalf of Arjun for that poor performance. I know I bring it in, day out. So, you know
He's
what?
Consistent.
You're gonna have to give him. You're gonna have to give him a little pass on that one. You know, we hit. I don't even know what episode we're on, but we're on at least.
So the last one, the last one was episode 16. We're gonna be episode 17 right now.
Ooh, so you know we're hitting at least 90% of the time.
I think so.
Pretty good.
I think so.
Pretty good.
But it is rather surprising because just to kind of give the audience an idea of these ratings we're talking about, you know, a couple of weeks back when Kanye announced his presidency, we did a couple of episodes kind of about that. It was primarily about Kanye.
Mm-hmm.
You know, one was an hour, the other was an hour and a half, and combined they got us about 76 views. Quite a lot. That's quite a lot for us. That's a high bar for us. But then the very next episode, and by the way, the thumbnail for this one, I spent a good 45 minutes doing. This was pieced together with different Google images. Adrian Wojnarowski on his phone, LeBron on his phone, Chris Paul looking at his phone, Terry Crews even, with Chance the Rapper, superimposed on top of the body of Chris from Everyone.
And we didn't get a copyright strike on that?
We surprisingly did not. Actually, that was that the one which we did? That might have been the one after, I forget. But we have been dealing with some copyright infringement issues. But in any case, that one dropped down to just 7 views.
Oh my
In 2 weeks' time, only 7. And then guess what? The one after that, episode 15, 6 views. And the most disappointing of all, episode 16. Actually, did we? Oh, 15 and then 16. Last week, episode 16, just 2 views, Don. Only 2 views. So I don't know what to say. I'm just happy that our subscriber count has not gone down.
Which is a good thing.
It's a good thing. We're still holding steady at 6.
Regardless of the amount of enemies we've created already.
I know I have created many enemies, but in future episodes we will discuss ways to deal with our anemonies, alimonies, effigies, whatever you want to call it. We will deal with them all. We will put them all to the fire. But I have to say, you know, Don has been doing such a phenomenal job with the Spotlight Sips. I don't know if Don knows I call it this, but
hey, I'm liking it.
You like it? The Spotlight
the
Sip?
double S's? All right.
Double S's. There you go. I'm all about that, obviously. So like, Don has been reviewing these beers, and he's probably sipping on something right now.
I am. I you know what? I forgot. We need to keep track of it.
I have been actually.
You wrote it down?
Yeah, dude, you'll be happy to know. Since we started this, every podcast, I write it in the description. Your rating, the alcohol by volume, your review as well. So you can look at it, and probably later on, I think just for fun, we'll probably do some kind of a compilation of sorts. Just you know, putting it all in one place. So we can see our reviews.
We should actually do that where we compile it and then we do a taste test again. But this time, you're tasting all the beers, and I'm tasting it.
I like it.
And we're blind to what I had actually rated it, to see if, you know, I'm actually consistent.
That's going to be a fun night in Brea.
It's going to be great. It's going to be great. Hey, just as a reminder, what were my first 2 beers? Or, well, I know last week's was a week one, or the week before that, I forget. The one before that.
Let me tell you right now. So, I think the first one that you did was episode 15.
Yeah.
So let me pop it up right now.
And while he's looking that up,
description.
I think you guys are going to be amazed that this week it is both of us taking part of the
That's right. That's right. I love it. Love that sound, although it's very jarring. I love that sound. So, just to kind of recap a little bit, episode 15 on July 23rd, Dawn was sipping on "Don't Trip" from Ariel Lodge Brewing.
Yes.
And let me just kind of recap the review here. So you rated it double D's, and
Double
the
Ds.
quote that I took from you, the quote that I took was this: "It's enough to keep you looking. It's enough to keep you wanting for more. You're not going to say no. You're not going to say no if it comes around. You're going to be like, yeah, I'm all for that. I'm not going to complain about that." So that's the official review by the D.
Wait, what about the next one then? What'd you write for the next one? I'm interested in knowing that one.
Yeah. So the next one was, of course, on July 29th.
Yeah.
Our least viewed episode of all time.
Perfect.
But, so you were sipping on, let's see what this is, hibiscus lime
There
from the
we go.
brewery. Bright Ideas Hibiscus Lime,
Yeah,
3% alcohol by volume, sparkling blonde ale, and you gave it a, I had to boost you up a little bit. You
Sure.
gave it a 1.85 Ds.
There we go.
It was
There
a
we go.
very, very tough grade.
We remember
And you
that
said,
one.
this one's pretty good. It's tart. I don't consider it a beer, so it doesn't get a rating. But you still went on to give it a rating, so I enjoyed that. And that brings us to the spotlight sip, or sips rather,
Sure.
of this week. And I actually have two.
Ooh.
So the first one,
Ooh.
and let me just kind of preface this by saying, these beers can be found at Hangar 24.
Okay.
It's
That's what those
on-
links were. I was wondering why you put those links. I didn't even click on them, but I was like, "Oh, that looks familiar." I was like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah. So it's Hangar 24 Brewing,
Sure.
and they have a little restaurant on Von Carmen in Maine, which is really pretty much like walking distance from my work.
Sure.
And so last week on Friday, I had gone once with a friend, and then today I went with a couple of coworkers.
Ooh.
And I will
Living on
tell you
the
about
edge.
both of my experiences. So on Friday, I tried the Chocolate Bomber.
Wow.
This is a rich, decadent, and full-bodied porter.
Okay.
It's 8% alcohol by volume,
Okay.
so it's a decent amount. It's you would definitely
yeah.
consider it a beer. You definitely consider it a beer. And just to kind of describe it for the audience here, I'm just going to read this description. The intense roasted malt flavor is derived from two types of chocolate malt and raw cocoa nibs. Whole vanilla beans introduced post-fermentation adds complexity and enhances the dessert-like qualities. So that's the official description. My review is this. I initially chose this because many years ago at Yard House, out of all places, I tried like this chocolate milk stout, something like this.
Okay.
And
Probably like a Beaver Town or something like that. Yeah. Solid.
yeah, and it was really good. Like, I thought, wow, this tastes really, really close to chocolate milk, but
Sure.
clearly it's beer. And it was like a very dark, rich-bodied beer, too.
Mm-hmm.
So I was kind of thinking, all right, Chocolate Bomber might be like that. Honestly, it wasn't my favorite.
Ooh.
If I were to
Ooh.
rate it out of 4 Ds, I'd probably give it a 1.5.
Ooh.
You know?
Yeah,
Officially,
still
a
good.
1.5.
Still decent.
You know, it's decent, I guess. I could barely taste the chocolate, though. I think that's what bothered me. If you're going to call it a chocolate bomber, it better do something. It can't just be a little
Jesus.
water pistol. It better be a bomber. You know what I mean?
All right.
So,
well, let me jump in here because right now what I'm drinking
Yes.
is actually chocolate forward. It is called Puff Pastry by Ariel Lodge Brewing. It's an Imperial Stout with cacao nibs, vanilla, and marshmallow.
Ooh.
To me, it is definitely an Imperial, meaning it's got some body to it.
Okay.
The chocolate really comes out a lot. It's the kind of beer that my wife likes. Surprisingly, she
Okay.
likes the heavy, dark, full-bodied sort of heavy beers, and
I like
it's not
that. I do
overtly
too.
sweet. Yeah, it's respectable, right?
Yeah,
Points.
Sure.
I'll save a can for you. I think I have an order coming in sometime soon.
Oh, wow.
Or part of the
So
membership.
what is it like for you? Do you just are you on some kind of a mailing list, like a subscription list?
So for certain breweries, they have kind of like membership societies. For Ariel Lodge, they just launched theirs this year, and it's called the Stouts Honored Society. Kind of like Scouts Honored, or Scouts, that sort of thing. Because they have a very
great word.
They have a very like camper-esque sort of vibe to them. So for this particular membership, what they'll do is they'll give you a free or a member-only beer, maybe every month, give or take. that is exclusive to those members, and they're all stouts. For this particular one, for Puff Pastry, this is like released to the public, but the members get some free cans of it as well. And it's fucking delicious. It's heavy. I can't go through many of them in one sitting. But it's definitely a double D and a half. Double D and a half.
Wow. I can appreciate that. And that's actually the perfect segue to my next sip one, or what are we calling this? Spotlight sip. I'm so forgetful today. There you go. There you go. I imagine every time you make that noise, I think of Kobe when he wants the ball. He makes this type of snake thing. So speaking of snakes, actually, wow, the segues are just mounting up today. This particular vintage is called Pugachev's Cobra.
Ooh.
And it is from Barrel Roll.
Oh.
It says Barrel Roll number 3. It's sold at the Hangar 24 Brewing.
Okay.
It is a intense Russian Imperial Stout.
Wow.
And I think a lot of what you were describing for the beer that you were sipping on, it kind of matches up with this. I'll kind of read it for the audience here. This rich black beauty with a thick caramel head is bursting with aromas of chocolate, vanilla, oak, bourbon, licorice, and dark fruits.
Okay.
While flavors of chocolate-covered plum, sweet malt, bourbon, and roasted coffee explode on your palate. This is no ordinary beer, no sir. 3 different dark roasted malts and rich maple syrup are combined in a truly unique brewing process to create complexity and depth. Once fermented, it is then aged for 8 months in freshly emptied bourbon barrels. This powerful concoction is designed to be enjoyed now with friends or cellared to perfection and savored in the years to come. So surprisingly, this is probably the highest alcohol by volume beer recorded on the show, because this is clocking in, believe it or not, at 15%.
That's nothing.
Really? That's nothing?
That's nothing. I do hire for my own stuff, but I'm waiting for the live, or where you and I together. I'll crack those.
Okay. Oh,
because there's no way I'm going through a bottle myself.
Dude, you know what's gonna happen? I feel like we're gonna be laughing and drinking so much that the podcast is gonna be something totally different. It'll be something like wild. Like,
yeah, pre-production. No need. We're opening a bottle tonight.
Start. There you go. There you go. So I have to say, shout out to Hangar 24 Brewing. It is a very poppin' place, I have to say. It's one of the few places that are open nearby. And so, blowing some steam off of work, it's a great place to go. They have outdoor seating. And beyond that, in case people don't know, there's this area around that plaza, Main and Von Carmen, called the Intersect. And the Intersect is the coolest thing because there is this central bar there that's not always open, but on Fridays they usually open up, and it's an extension of the Hangar 24. It's like a second tap, basically. And so, usually on Fridays there's a lot of people coming through, workers from the buildings, families nearby living in the apartments, and even just, random teens, random, kids coming through. But it is very cool, and it makes you kind of forget that we're still living in the COVID-19 era.
Sure.
And it's the wildest thing. I'm sure you've been pretty careful for the most part. I have as well. Well, okay, maybe not. Maybe not. But we try to be as careful and socially conscious as possible about the distancing and whatnot. But here, it's almost like this oasis in the desert, right? Like you come here and there's like multiple bars. There's a half basketball court, which is super dope. There's like a mini putting green. There's like a TV with a bunch of like nice sofas and like outdoor seating.
Sure.
There's so much outdoor stuff there, and anybody can come in. So to combine it all together with the central bar, I think it's a great location. So shout out to the Intersect on Von Carmen and Main, and shout out to Hangar 24 for sponsoring, quote unquote, this particular.
Hey, you haven't rated it yet though.
I thought I did. So I rated the first one 1.5 Ds. And the second, actually maybe I didn't. The second one I would have to say, I just read the description like an ass. Yeah. So okay, let me first give you my review before I break down.
Yeah, I was like, what's going on there? Like,
I just go in promoting this place for no reason, like nobody's gonna go. So I would say my first sip of it was like, whoa, okay, this is a little stronger than usual. But then I kept drinking, and it was almost like kind of a soda to me, like a chocolatey kind of soda, like a sweet, pastry type of soda. And it was smooth. Surprisingly, for something that's 15%, it was smooth, and I enjoyed every sip. And I wish I ordered more. I wish I was there for longer. I wish I ordered another one. So this may be a 3D out of 4. This is going to be a 3D.
The triple Ds?
Triple D, man.
Okay, this is your scale, not mine, alright? So we're going to have separate scales.
This is my scale. I know. We have different ratings, but
Jesus.
So I experienced a range at this place. I tried the 1.5D on Friday, which was I'll probably never get it again. But the Puga Chips Cobra, that may be a go-to. My goal is,
out of curiosity.
Yeah.
What was the price point difference on those two?
Oh gosh, I really shouldn't admit this, but I kind of just paid. I didn't even.
Look at it. Such a baller, dude.
No, not at all. I think though, the Cobra was more expensive. Like what I had today, because it was kind of in a separate section as well. Like kind of
you have to go downstairs, knock on the secret door.
There you go. There you go.
Tip the security guard there in the suit. Yeah, I get it.
That's right. So this was probably a little bit on the pricier side. I would say. Gosh, I can't even remember actually, because I didn't go, and you'll laugh at this. I went for a half pint because I wasn't going to be there for too long.
No,
I should have went for the full pint.
No, you would have been not good to drive, I think.
Perhaps
15%.
So yeah, 15%. It was kind of a conscious decision. Like, you know what?
Yeah, dude.
This might be okay.
So you got to do the math. Do the math. How much is a normal alcohol shot have? It's 40%, and it's 2 ounces. Half pint, You're looking at 8 ounces.
Sure.
So you're essentially taking about 1.5 to 2 shots with that half pint.
Which is fine. I mean, I have a decent tolerance when it comes to shots.
We'll test that when I crack some bottles open for you.
Will we really? I wonder how it's going to be. I think I'm just going to get like totally destroyed. Whenever we do these live, I'm just going to be like totally shit-faced.
It's going to be a 30-minute session. Like, we're going to have to end it soon.
We're going to cut it like
Arjun wants to play some
salivating
2K.
on the floor. His eyes are like rolling back into his head. It's not pretty. But yeah, man, I liked it. Definitely triple D for me.
Okay.
My goal is always to try a variety of beer wherever I go to. So
Absolutely.
If I keep going to this Hangar 24, I tried these, right? The Chocolate Bomber, the Puga Chips Cobra, but I'm going to try some more. I'm going to try different ones, see what I like, see what I don't like. But I will tell you this much. Based off of my very limited experience compared to you, I think I consider both you and Kelly to be more of the all-stars when it comes to the special breweries, the microbreweries. You've definitely tasted many more brews than I have. But based on my limited experience, I would say I kind of prefer the stouts, like darker beers. Like there's something about it. Like there's more flavor. It just feels bolder.
It definitely is. There's definitely more sugar in it. First off, normally,
there you go. That may be what I like.
And it's, because you could equate sugar to alcohol level typically. Sure. So the grains that they use, the grain profile, which forms ingredient number 1 for beer, it just displays certain characteristics that are definitely, hate or love it, sort of. So it's interesting when you find somebody that, especially here in the West Coast in California, that isn't an IPA kind of person, where they're stout kind of forward people. And I respect those kinds of people because they're just not following the trend. They're actually following what they like. And if you give stouts a chance, though they are heavy and on the expensive side, 1 stout will do the job of 3 beers, if enjoyed properly and brewed correctly.
I like that. I like that because I'll be honest with you. It never appealed to me, the whole idea of downing like 3-4 beers to really feel it. Right? It never really kind of appealed to me. But I always like the idea of maybe you have a little bit of whiskey on the rocks, right, and just kind of sipping on that over some nice conversation, or in this case the Puga Chips Cobra. Which was fantastic. So
we'll get. Dude, we should eventually get to that point. Once our stocks pay off, maybe we could take those capital gains and turn it into a nice 25-year or something like that one day.
Yeah, we totally could. And I was also thinking we could take some of those gains and maybe start a whole little microbrewery ourselves, huh? Like take advantage of the bathtub and just do a little moonshine.
Whoa. Wait, whoa. Well, I do have my brewing equipment, so once you find a beer, we could try to find a clone recipe of it.
Oh,
and
wow.
then apply your own little twist to it.
That is so cool. I like how you're seriously considering this in the future, like actually brewing.
Hey man, I have the equipment, dude. I used to brew. Did I never tell you that?
No, I didn't know.
Dude, I used to brew beer. I got really into it when I moved to the Bay Area for medical school. And cooking gives you one kind of joy, right? Especially if it's a longer session or if you're barbecuing outside with the boys, what have you. Brewing is very, very similar to like smoking meat because it's a long process with a lot of downtime. So it's a way to rekindle the flame with some friends that you maybe haven't brewed with in a long time, or introduce a new form of cooking to other individuals. And it's just as precise as baking, where the measurements matter, the temperatures matter, and the time. The timing is very, very crucial because you're dealing with a live, drink with all the yeast that you put into it. So it's great. I prefer brewing over baking any day.
Well, I'm sure you're good at both, though. You sell yourself short on the baking. I know you can bake up a storm, whatever that means. You can certainly bake up a storm. But sometimes when it comes to baking, you may decide to put some chia seeds in whatever you're doing. You may decide to get some seeds from different countries even. But I warn you, however, do not open any packages that you weren't expecting from China that has a bunch of seeds inside. Apparently, did you know this? I found out from, I guess, Yahoo Life. Delish is the magazine, they say, from Melissa Matthews on July 29. Our article's called "Here's What to Do If You Receive a Mysterious Package of Seeds from China." And apparently, this has been going on for quite some time, where people are just getting random packages full of seeds. And nobody really knows why they're seeds and not anything else. Sometimes they're listed as jewelry, like it's supposed to be jewelry, but it ends up being seeds. And I think people say it's tied to some kind of a, fake review system. Like, you send it out to all these people, and for whatever reason, that allows you to write reviews or something. I'm not entirely clear. I didn't read the article clearly. I'm just kind of freeballing here. But I will say the warning here from the USDA, as I've told you from day one, you should never plant seeds from unknown origins, right? You should never ever do that.
Sure.
They could be seeds of an invasive species, right? That could wreak havoc on the environment, destroy the native plants, the native tomatoes, the tomatoes, or severely damage crops, according to, people from Virginia, apparently. and people from New York recommend storing them away from children and pets. So I guess it's not the most harmful thing. Like, this is not anthrax. This is not some kind of white powder that...
Hey, what if these seeds grow the precursor to anthrax?
Well, maybe you can educate me. What is anthrax? Like, what is that based off of a plant?
I didn't even read about it. I know anthrax was just a white powder of some sort that kind of caused... It was like a skin irritant, from what I remember. So it was almost like a skin poison, for lack of a better description.
Sure.
That's as far as I know. I would equate it to like asbestos, where exposure to it causes harm.
I got you. So, maybe a little bit of exposure, not too bad. If you're breathing that stuff in, it could be bad for you.
Sure.
I hear you. So tell me this, Don. Say I were to send you a package of seeds. But I wouldn't tell you what kind of seeds they were.
Sure.
Right? And I would just say, Don, if you trust me, if you believe in me, go ahead and plant them. And you will find out what they are in a year's time.
Fuck yeah.
Would you do it? Would you
Hell
take
yeah,
that
dude.
risk?
Why not, dude? I am a new homeowner. I would plant that sucker ASAP.
I like it. Well, guess what? There's good news. Because those seeds were magical seeds.
Ooh.
And you know what's going to happen in a year? It's going to be a huge beanstalk that grows all the way into the heavens.
Oh my God.
And now
Dude.
it's a new question. It's a new question for you, Don. Will you climb the beanstalk to see what's up top?
That depends. Am I fit about years from now? You know, with all the beer.
Let's say in a year's time we're both back in basketball shape.
Ooh.
We're both balling again. We're both like Lakers 6th man of the year.
Ooh.
You know, ready. We're ready.
Ooh. So we're the ACs of the world right now.
We are the Carusos. Yes, we are the Carusos of the world.
I would climb it because I have full trust in you.
All right. Well, I don't have full trust in those seeds, by the way.
Hey, man,
I'm glad you have full trust in me. I'm glad.
You know,
and
that's
now that we've climbed it, you find a lair. You find a lair where some giant is sleeping.
Ooh.
Right? There's a huge cave. I don't know how the cave exists.
Sure.
This is defying physics and everything. But suspend your disbelief and imagine there is a giant cave up top, and behind the giant, you notice just coffers of gold, tons and tons of gold. And the gold is regular people size. It's not giant size, it's regular people. So you can totally bring that stuff down.
Sure.
If you are so bold. Now the question is, Don, do you have the balls to walk around this sleeping giant and take all the gold and climb back on down the beanstalk?
Nah, I wouldn't. See, what I would do is, and I'm sorry if this ruins any segue you have planned, but what I would do is I'd climb back down.
Okay.
I would inform a couple of the homies who owned some sort of firearm, for example.
Oh my God! You'd kill the giant?
Hey! You gotta be prepared in moments like these. You know, it's first
time.
Stay
strapped. Hey! When you say firearms, what you really mean is the big old Filipino fork and spoon, right?
Well, I would be armed with that, but you know, I gotta bring the backup just in case I miss that first stab. You know. So you know, get a good handful, right? Because gold is at an all-time high, actually, right now.
Oh,
I think.
you know.
I'm staying a little informed. Shout out Bloomberg. That's what's up.
Dude, I love how Bloomberg is the only thing you shout out. Like, hey, yo, I read that on Bloomberg today. But I like it. So Don, have you had a little bit more time recently to catch up on some reading? I know you've been jostling about 5 different books, 7 different magazines. I don't know how you find the time in general with the speed reading that you do. But what have you been up to? What have you been reading lately?
Lately, I've been actually not reading. I've been watching some master classes. Particularly that of Gordon Ramsay. I think it would be a little wise to step out of my comfort zone and cook foods that are atypical to my normal culinary adventures. So that's what I've been doing lately. Not reading, but still learning.
You know, I have to say that is very interesting how you're exploring different cuisines, different parts of the world even, in terms of what you make. Trader Joe's, as you know, has been doing something similar for quite some time. They have these varieties called Trader Ming's, Trader Jose's, or Trader Juan's, and they're just kind of a, Trader Joe's spin on some kind of food that's known to be of a certain ethnicity, known to be popular in a certain region of the world. And, they've kind of come under fire recently because they're one of the very, very few companies that's not bending to the whim of the PC culture. They're actually saying, you know what? We recognize that our brands are very diverse, and we recognize that some people may have a issue with this, but we're also very successful with these brands, and people give us tons of compliments. And Trader Ming's, Trader Juan's, Trader Jose's, these names are here to stay. We're not planning on rebranding anything, and this is how it's going to be. So my question to you, John, would be, do you approve of Trader Joe's taking a stance like this?
Yeah. I mean, why not? Let them market their products as they see fit. I think our culture, or rather today's culture, is too soft when it comes to these things. They're not trying to racially, well, they kind of are, racially profile their foods, but it's the same thing you find in every fucking market that you go to. What aisle do you find international ingredients in. Oh, you find it in the Asian ingredient aisle, the Latin American aisle, that little section where there's top ramen and other,
Sure.
you know,
Sure, and the Kikkoman soy sauce.
exactly, and you only find it there.
Yeah.
So to give Trader Joe's flack for this, which from what I've read has been, you know, some people are kind of like, oh, it's fun, it's quirky, it keeps things exciting.
Yeah.
And it easily identifies a particular subset of their brand that offers a different take on their normal offerings. And I think it's brilliant. I don't know why people are just too soft. Complaining, oh my god, I am of Asian descent, and I don't appreciate how Trader Ming's is doing this. I mean, the food's not even really Asian. Like, no shit. Make it yourself if you're gonna complain about that stuff. Don't go and blog or post it on your TikTok. Like, come on.
Damn. I love that. That's straight fire from the D.
Dude,
this is how I gain fans. I lose fans. I like it. I like it. Finally, the numbers are going to go up for the A. I like it.
Three this week.
Oh, you know, I'm kind of with that because I oftentimes wonder, who are the people that are complaining?
It's the Karens of the world.
Are they really? Like, so it's just, it's not even like the people whose ethnicities are being kind of racially profiled. It's just the Karens?
I would assume so. Because, well, if not the Karens, those that are pretty much prototypical Karens. The ones that are willing to take out time in their days to rag on some company for whatever vendetta they have against that company. Or just to be heard. Like, why? Is that worth your time to put down another person's business if they're not hurting you? Or offending you purposefully? I'll tell you
this. I think I do understand the mentality. I think the truth of it is, individually, we do not have much power. But if we get on some kind of a platform, could be social media, could be just standing on top of a soapbox and just yelling in the street, any kind of platform for that matter, it makes you feel like you're contributing to the zeitgeist. It
makes you feel. So it's selfish.
It is, you know, and that's exactly what I'm getting at. It makes you feel like you're accomplishing something by saying, oh, you know, hey, these things are bad, we should fix it so the world is better.
So
it's really,
so it's a form of seeking relevance in your otherwise unrelevant life. Or irrelevant life, rather.
Irrelevant life.
There we go. There.
Both of them work.
Yeah, tomato, tomato. Green beanstalk, gold bars, giant, strap up.
There you go. You know, tomato, Trader Giotto, Trader Johnny's, whatever you want to call it. They're all.
I read it. It was like a Trader Joe-san. That was their Japanese line.
Yeah, the Japanese one. Hey, let's actually go through these because they're kind of fun. So the Chinese one obviously is Trader Ming, which makes sense.
Okay.
And then they got the.
Whoa! Why does it make sense, man? Why is it making sense?
Because I'm racist too, I guess. So then they have a Trader Giotto for Italian, which is cool. And Trader Jacques for French, awesome.
Sure.
And then they mix it up a little bit. They go with Arabian Joes and Armenian Joes, but apparently they kind of phased them out. I don't know why.
Yeah.
It said that Trader Joe's officially phased out Arabian and Armenian Joes because they used to be for Middle Eastern and Armenian style products. Why do you think they phased out Arabian Joes and Armenian Joes? But
they couldn't come up with a better name, so that one was a little too straightforward in the racial profiling. They're like, oh yeah, whoever came up with this marketing scheme, we fired them, so we could take this off the line and rebrand it something else. Yeah, I don't know, dude. Trader Joe's, from what I remember, was originated as a small company in what we could call our locality in Monrovia, California.
Okay.
And now they've grown to something super big, and they're essentially almost one step, or rather, on the same playing field as like Whole Foods and other kind of niche culture markets, right? To shop at Trader Joe's takes a certain personality if you shop there religiously. Same with like Whole Foods. Unlike me, I shop at fucking like Food for Less, Costco, that sort of thing. It just makes me it irks me that people would take time out of their days to put down a company that's just trying to make, to have a business. So what? If you don't support them, then fantastic. Don't shop there. No one forces you to shop there and buy their Trader Ming wontons or some shit like that. Like, just fucking go somewhere else. But, maybe, now that I think about it, they're attracting the very kinds of people that would cause this sort of ruckus in the first place.
Oh.
The ones that maybe feel entitled and seek relevance because their parents aren't paying them enough anymore. Something like that.
Wow.
I don't know.
You may be onto something there. You may be onto something. And this is something that's been going on, not just for Trader Joe's, but you look elsewhere, right? You look at, Aunt Jemima, the famous delicious, syrup for pancakes. That's going to be phased out. You look at Uncle Ben's rice. We're not going to have Uncle Ben around anymore. So,
I'm Asian, so we make our own rice.
There you go. You make your own rice. You never really had Uncle Ben to begin with. You had different uncles. You had different uncles.
Yeah.
And then the ice cream bar Eskimo Pie will also be rebranded. I never had that before. I don't know if you have.
They're like moon pies, basically, right? But like frozen.
Oh, okay. So it's like a kind of like a chocolate covering.
Yeah, it's almost like a ice cream sandwich, but with a different kind of bread and coated in chocolate.
Well, that sounds good. Actually, I may be looking for Eskimo pie after.
Don't look at Trader Joe's. They probably don't carry it anymore.
I know they're kind of bending to the wind, taking the Armenian Joe out and the Arabian Joe out.
The Eskimo Joe, that's gone now.
Eskimo Joe. I guess I am one of those people that occasionally shop at Trader Joe's. Not all the time.
Nothing wrong with that.
But I think it's been around.
We've been accustomed to it. Being blessed
exactly.
by living in Irvine. I mean,
Absolutely.
UC Irvine to be specific. So it was just easily within walking distance, and that was, I would argue, that was the only market that was within walking distance, comfortably.
Well,
there was an Albertsons down the line, but if you lived in Mesa or Middle Earth as a freshman, you don't.
I understand. Yeah, from Mesa, absolutely. So for those of us on the pod that are listening in and have no idea what Mesa is, so Don and I
hard streets of Mesa Court.
We hail from the hard streets of Mesa Court in the University of California of Irvine many moons ago, and Mesa Court, specifically where we were, at least Don's second year, my first year in Laguna, we were very much in like the west side of the campus. Right, like very much in the corner over there,
right next to the haunted road that got super foggy, and if you drove through it late at night, you were scared for your life that something would pop out.
Oh my gosh, I remember that, dude. Yeah, what was that street? Was it Campus? Was that Campus?
Was it Campus or Pendleton? I forget.
I think Peltison was the intersection, right? West Peltison was the student center intersection.
It's been too long.
So yeah, essentially like let's say it's Campus for the story's sake. At nighttime, that was one scary road, and I remember, back in the day, it was freshman year, when we were driving back from something. Not me and Don in particular, but other people in the car. They would purposely drive slower and cut the lights, and just make it super scary. And at times it was just like, all right, well, come on, get going now. We don't want to stay out here forever. But yeah, it's definitely one of those situations where it's like a long, kind of slowly curving road, which is just, reserves on both sides, right? Just like wilderness reserves on both sides. And it can be a little frightening during the nighttime, but we got used to it after a while. It became rather commonplace. But yeah, no, so Mesa Court was all the way at the edge over there next to this road. And the closest thing we had, I think there was a Taco Bell there. And then you keep walking and then you find like...
You got the In-N-Out right there too, right? Don't forget about the In-N-Out.
In-N-Out's a little bit further walk, that's right, that's true. And then, keep on going and you do see the Trader Joe's.
Yeah.
And that comes about a block or two before the Albertsons. Now, I don't know if Don ever visited me back when Harvard Court, but I did live in Harvard Court.
You did? Yeah, no, I've been there a couple times. I remember.
Oh, yeah, you were. I remember,
I lived at Cornell.
So you know the area.
Yeah. That's why I switched over to Albertsons when I realized I was spending too much money at Trader Joe's.
Yeah, it's true, man. I think Trader Joe's does have a certain premium for the products, but it's hit or miss, I'd say. Some are really good. Some you can buy frequently and they always taste good. Others, not so much, not so much. But I think at one point or another, we all kind of enjoyed what Trader Joe's has to offer, and it's good to sometimes shout out, what you really care about. Sometimes you may be watching something on TV, and you may say, "Oh, hey, number 24 on so and so team is looking pretty dope," but then you never expect to get any kind of a pushback from such a comment. Well, let me kind of explain what I'm getting at. So I found this article from Yahoo Sports, written by Cassandra Negley on July 30th, 2020. And the title reads, Ariel Powers, WNBA player, tells Andre Iguodola, the WNBA is done with being marginalized after number 23 tweet. And so, essentially, this was rather harmless from my perspective initially, but after reading through it, I could kind of understand both takes. So let me kind of summarize it. So this girl, Powers, she's really good. She is a member of the reigning champions. Of course, the team that had won the WNBA title last season, right, Don? Of course, you watched the finals with me.
Of course.
So we're talking about the Mystics, in case the people don't know. And by the way, Don, of course, what city or what state the Mystics are from.
Of course. Go ahead and remind everybody.
It's the Washington Mystics.
Exactly.
For those that don't
Come
know.
on, guys.
Everybody knows this. We were very strong advocates of the WNBA. So Powers, she's a good player, and she was going off. She scored a career-high 27 points.
Fantastic.
10 of 14 shooting, very respectable. 4 of 6 from deep, 4 threes, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals. Iggy was watching. Andre Iguodala was watching. And he just shouted out, number 23 from the Mystics is nice. He just put that on the Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem here comes in because the situation, in case people don't know, most people realize the WNBA is not really profitable. It is always a loss leader for all these co-owning NBA teams. But it is something I think that is essential for many young girls out there who are very athletic, who are very good at basketball, and want to progress to the professional rankings. I think it's good to have that. It's good to have some kind of a league like that. And the problem with it is not too many people are watching. The branding isn't really that good. You don't really see as many advertisements for WNBA athletes as you would for NBA athletes.
Sure.
It's just a whole myriad of issues with the promotion of the brand. So the article says, but instead of using her name in a tweet to his more than 1.3 million followers, he simply said number 23. So in return, Powers, after the game, said, "Put some respect on my name, or keep this tweet to yourself." Yeah. So very, very punchy there. Very punchy.
Sure.
So the next morning, Iggy woke up from doing whatever he's doing, and he tweeted, ... no manners. So obviously he took a little bit of offense to Ariel Powers coming back at him in that way. And so Powers didn't want to stop there. Powers, an avid gamer involved in the NBA 2K scene, answered saying she deals with disrespect on a daily basis, and asked if it would have been the same scenario if she were a male player. Specifically, she goes on to say, we deal with disrespect on the daily, so for someone like you, Iggy, to tweet that off the same device you could have looked me up on is unacceptable. Mind you, commentator said my name. Would it have been the same if I was a guy? Look at the pic. I don't forget. I said what I said. And the pic that she's referring to is a little tough for Iggy fans to look at. Basically, he says, NBA star Andre Iguodala, exclusive from 2016 January, he's quoted to say, "I don't want my daughter playing basketball and becoming a lesbian." Not a very nice thing to say, especially
Iggy,
digging up the skeleton.
Iggy, come on, Iggy.
I know, Iggy. So this was a 2016 TMZ article.
Of course it would be TMZ.
I know. Who else is reporting stuff like this on the daily? So, but, Iggy apparently said this at a book signing a year ago, and it was taken out of context. I haven't read into that justification, but, so be it. That's his piece. And Powers goes on to say that the WNBA is sick of being marginalized, and it's about time that people recognize the athletes and give them the proper respect. So, I can understand. I can understand where she's coming from. Obviously, she is a notable brand ambassador for the WNBA. One of her missions, I guess, as a player, as a representative, is to boost the brand so she can boost her own image and boost
Sure.
the money that everyone gets in the WNBA, make it more, comparable to what the NBA is doing. So I want to get your thoughts on this whole, not really beef, but this whole exchange on Twitter between Powers and Iggy. Do you think it's much ado about nothing, or does Powers have a point here, and Iggy should have been a little bit more responsible?
I think if we start off with Powers,
Yeah.
she has a great point about, making sure that female athletes get recognized by name and, kind of share the playing field across the board. It is a tough sport, and to play at that echelon speaks so much high praises about her abilities in that particular sport. Bringing up Iggy's comment may have given us the context needed to figure out why Powers was so angry to begin with. I think that Iggy's comment, which was dug up, brings up the genderization issue, and when he's talking about his own family and his own wants and expectations, we can understand the frustration behind Powers and her tweets. However, I do believe in the beginning when Iggy tweeted this, he didn't mean any malice.
Exactly, right? Like, you just read that tweet. Oh, yo, number 23 from the Mystics is nice. That's just a quick thing you say. You may not know
Yeah,
her name, but
yeah.
you see the jersey number. It's right
Sure.
there. So initially, I was with you. Like, I didn't find any
Yeah,
malice in that quote.
yeah.
But I think once you kind of
Yeah.
read into this back and forth, you
Yeah.
realize.
Then you're like, yeah, Iggy, you fucked up, bro. Like, just take the L. Take the L. It's all good. You're enjoying your time in Miami. Just take the L. You're good.
Yeah, and the part that disappointed me, I mean, of course, that quote that they dug up from 2016 by
Yeah.
TMZ, that of course is disappointing. But even
Yeah.
beyond that, like the fact that he goes on to kind of say no manners, I think that might have been a bit much. He could have just shouted her out, right? Like, the thing is, in the NBA, usually, or celebrities do this all the time, actually. Whenever you are referencing another celebrity in a tweet, you do the @ thing, right? You do the @ then their handle for their Twitter username, and in that way, you draw attention to that profile, and everybody who's following that athlete will know, oh yeah, this guy has been tagged here. Let's take a look. I think Powers was really expecting that. Like, if Andre Iguodala said number 23, then @ Ariel Powers 23, or just the tag itself, not even say her full name like in words, just say @ Ariel Powers 23 from the Mystics is nice, that would have been perfect. That would have been all the credit in the world. I'm a little bit torn on this, but I tend to lean on the same side that you are, because I think it is actually incumbent on the NBA players to continuously support their WNBA counterparts.
Sure.
It may not be something that's easy. It may not be always convenient, but I think this is a way to help grow the brand of basketball for boys and girls all over the world. And so, I actually think back, and you may remember this too. Do you remember which athlete, now unfortunately gone, passed away, was really a strong advocate of the WNBA and even attended games on the regular with his daughters? It was none other than Kobe Bryant, number 24. And Kobe was not just a fan. He actually was an advocate. He would go to games on a regular basis, sitting courtside and doing some commentary from time to time, really being there. And of course, you could say the interest was his daughters, right? I mean, he wanted to make sure that he was really setting up the stage for Gianna, rest in peace, to join the ranks of the WNBA someday and kind of play in the same attitude and Black Mamba, vibe that he played with throughout his 20-year career. And I think we need more of that. I don't know which athletes are going to be the ones that really step up. Clearly, Iguodola has some work to do to get to that level. But I hope to see more and more NBA players, going to WNBA games, maybe bringing their kids along, and kind of showing that, hey, this is actually cool. It's cool to see pro athletes, male or female, to go out there and compete at the highest level and enjoy it. Enjoy it in a family friendly way.
Yeah. All for it.
know.
All for it.
I think so.
I feel bad for Iggy, though, a little bit. Got caught up in something that he could have avoided, but he was just trying to do the right thing, maybe? I don't know. It kind of sucks.
Yeah, that actually got me thinking, too. Like, he was probably thinking he was doing her a solid.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Calling it out. And there's so many things he could be alluding to in that tweet. Number 23 is a very prolific number in the league. So, paying homage to that greatness and stepping up to, wearing that legendary number, even though there are so many players that still wear it and don't even meet half the qualifications to wear it. Just retire, Iggy. Just join the analyst table. You'll be much happier, man. You'll be much happier.
I think being an analyst on TNT is probably in his future. He's done it a few times already.
Well, he's a smart player.
He is.
He's very smart. He's very analytical in his approaches. I think he had, in his younger days, he was more of an offensive-minded threat. But, in his prime years, or, beginning of his prime years, that defense really took hold, and he became known as pretty much a first-team all-defense every now and then sort of player. I don't know about first team, actually. First, second, third. He's making it.
He was well respected. Yeah.
I can't wait to see him. I don't know if he's going to have the personality to do it, though. Do you think he's going to be able to rip like Shaq and Chuck?
See, this is the thing. I think we both agree that TNT's Inside the NBA is one of the best sports shows ever, right? Like, just the sheer chemistry between EJ,
or lack thereof.
or sometimes it does get a little fussy. You're right. But that whole dynamic between EJ, Kenny, Charles, and Shaq, it's hard to duplicate. It comes off as so natural, and everybody's kind of going back and forth against each other. And I don't get the chance to watch it too often anymore, but back in the day in undergrad, this was almost a religious thing for me. Like, every single Thursday, I'd be sure I caught the end of that. I may miss the games because of lab, but after lab, I would come back and watch the whole TNT's Inside the NBA.
Yeah, man.
So I don't think we'll ever replicate it after they all retire.
Who do you think is going to actually take over that? Or be the new, I guess, cast of that sort of entertainment?
This is a great topic. I actually spent a lot of time thinking about this throughout the years because
I believe it.
I know, right? Ernie Johnson, to me, he's the GOAT in terms of like being a presenter, being a broadcaster. Hard to find people who are more gifted, talented, and just really professional. Super competent. What I have been noticing over the years, they have been trying out different guys at that position. So, you know how Thursday is like the flagship day where all the heavy hitters come through for the post-game show. But on Tuesdays, it's kind of like the B team. I don't know if you ever noticed.
I have.
Yeah, it's like, I think this past Tuesday, yesterday, it might have been like Dwayne Wade, Vince Carter, and some white guy. They always have to have one white guy there. Kind of being the point man for whatever reason. And
the original Trader Joe.
Yes, they had the original Trader Joe there, surrounded by. You can come up with another.
I'm not going to.
I don't want to. I have to hit the brakes on that one. But I think they've tried different Trader Joe's, for lack of a better word, and some are good. Don't get me wrong. I think the guy yesterday, from like the 2 minutes I heard, he was competent. He was moving things along. But really, it comes down to the dynamic, right? It comes down to the chemistry. It doesn't matter if you're just good at your job. You have to be good at your job and get along really well with the others to the point where you can feel comfortable cracking jokes, riffing on each other. You do it in a way where it's not just the same old thing, where it's kind of just boring to watch. I
Sure.
notice a lot of times, and this is going to be a little bit of a knock here, a little bit of not really a diss, but a little bit of a criticism. Chris Webber, in past seasons, for the Tuesdays players only thing that they used to run, Chris Webber was like the Ernie Johnson, right? He kind of quoted himself to be the Black Ernie Johnson, and he would run the show, right?
Sure,
And
sure,
sometimes Shaq would moonlight a little bit. Baron Davis was there. Candace Parker, who's great, she was there too. But the chemistry always felt forced, and it wasn't really smooth. And so to answer your question, the people I've seen so far, none of them really stand out to me like, oh yeah, like for sure.
Okay.
This
No,
one's gonna
that
be-
makes sense. That makes sense. Let me tell you who I think would make a fantastic 4-man cast.
Okay.
Team Banana Boat. The likings of LBJ, Dwayne Wade, Carmelo, and none other than Chris Paul. I could
So,
see that working out.
I would watch that for sure. I mean, just because those were huge stars in the peak of our watching
Oh,
career,
yeah,
our NBA watching career. But I will tell you this, man. Have you seen the barber shop or the shop? Like
I haven't. LBJ's
Okay.
pod, basically.
Yeah, he kind of has this laid back, HBO series where
Yep.
he gets like different. I mean, these are big A-list names. Like Pharrell comes through, NFL, MLB players come through, actors, musicians,
Sure.
everybody comes through, and they just kind of chop it up. They talk about different things. They talk about life, and I get the feeling that if LeBron was full time on TNT's Inside the NBA,
I think you'd run out of things to say.
I think he would make a good effort. I think he would probably want to be the Ernie Johnson,
Ooh.
kind of like how he wants to
Okay,
be the point
okay.
guard in real life.
So maybe
He'd wanna
that. Okay.
Maybe. So I can kind of see it working. I think Chris Paul would be very interesting because he's been known to be extremely opinionated, well spoken as well.
Yeah.
And I would love to see him be kind of the instigator,
Yep. Yep.
the irritant, like he is on the court.
Yeah.
So Melo,
I think Melo would be the
yeah.
comedic relief. The guy that, like Shaq, would just chime in from time to time and say something ridiculous. Sort of like
Melo?
how Chuck does, like a hybrid of Chuck and Shaq.
I can see that. I
Right.
can see that. Dwayne Wade, I'll be honest with you, Dwayne Wade's not bad. Like I think he's very professional and he presents well. I don't know if I find him entertaining to that level,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I
I'm the
think
same way.
for a pinch, he's a guy that can easily step in.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. And
So
I
I
know-
like your idea. Yeah.
Dude, and I think ideally, what I would really like to see, Katie and Russ headlining a show, just them two. I think that would be amazing. And if they still had beef, like low-key beef, but they're not going to say it out loud, but it's still there and you could feel it, amazing TV.
Like the tension you can cut with a knife. That
Hell
kind
yeah.
of thing.
Hell yeah.
I
Hey, and by the
also-
way, we're coming close to the end here, so I don't know if you want to bring up one more topic. You want to do a hard segue into it? Or you good with
Well,
this?
I will let you pick the last topic. How about that? Let's mix it up a little bit. You can be the LeBron James here.
Or
You
why
can-
don't we give everybody an update where we stand for our current bet?
Oh gosh, yeah. How
Ah.
could I forget? How could I forget about that?
Oh, I know why you forgot about it, but
I'll let you recap
Yeah,
for the
yeah,
audience.
so-
What's been going on with our teams?
so let's see. So who did I pick again? Let's go ahead and have you say it really quick. 8 and 9.
Okay,
I picked.
you pick-
Who did I pick? The
you-
ones that are in 8 and 9 right now, I believe, right?
You pick the Grizzlies and the Blazers.
That's fantastic. All right, and they're sitting comfortably at 8 and 9. But I have to give you the benefit of the doubt here. The Spurs are coming in.
Are they really?
Spurs.
Wait. What's their record? Let me look at this right
They're
now. 'cause
29 and 38.
Okay, so let me get this up right here. Not looking too good, man. Not looking too good. So Pelicans are. Oh, but what do you mean? The Pelicans are tied with the Spurs.
I totally didn't even look at that team. That team is okay.
Man, so I just gotta say, Pelicans are they won one game finally. And by the way, what are you talking about? The Spurs? The Spurs are on a 2-game losing streak. So what the hell?
I just wanted you to notice it.
You probably wanted me to read that. You probably wanted me to read that out loud. And just like
no, I wanted you to get excited, seeing like, oh, they're 10. Oh,
they're 10. So needless to say, I have some catching up to do. I'm not out of it yet. I mean, I'm just one game behind for both of my guys.
Two games behind actually.
Well, okay. But the way I look at it, the goal for my teams is actually to get into the 9th spot and then fight their way to the 8th seed, if that makes sense.
Yep, the Trailblazers are 2 games up.
What are you looking at? I'm looking on the Western Conference standings on Google.
Yeah.
And it looks like Spurs and Pelicans are 22 games behind the Lakers. Blazers are 21 games, and Grizzlies are 20 games. Right? Is that what you're looking at too?
I see. I'm not even looking at the games behind stat. I'm just looking at the raw wins.
I know, but you got to look at that because they combine both, right? They look at the wins and the losses as halves, right? So 0.5, 0.5, 0.5.
I get it. It's like one game they win and then one loss on the Blazers. Yeah, whatever.
Exactly.
2 games.
Exactly.
Come on, Dame Dollar is on fire right now. Grizzlies, I'm a little scared. A little scared about the Grizzlies right now.
Oh, for good reason. Let's see. Out of all the teams in the Western Conference, which one has the longest losing streak now?
Let's see. I would say the Warriors because they're taking the L by not even participating.
Well, that is true. But jokes aside, it's actually your Grizzlies. They're on a 5-game losing streak.
Yeah, dude. They just fucking Jaren Jackson just hurt or torn his meniscus. And
did he really?
Yeah, and then John Morant isn't really doing too hot. So there's definitely some injury issues going on there.
Let's take a look at their upcoming schedule because it'll make me feel better if I can project some losses.
Okay, let's see.
So they lost today to the Jazz, thank goodness. On Friday they play OKC.
So it might be a loss right there.
I don't know.
Could be close. Could be close. All right. But then look at their next 3 games.
Let's see. They are playing the Raptors. Ooh, that's the L probably.
And then they're against the Celtics, which is possibly
and the
another
Bucks.
L.
Oh my God, really? Okay, so the Grizzlies may have like a 9-game losing streak to close off the season.
Hey, you never know. They might pull out a win. John Morant, dude, just still fighting for that Rookie of the Year award.
Yeah, do you think he's clinched it? Like it's pretty much him.
I saw a stat. I was perusing YouTube earlier today. There's a certain like plus minus to your team that each player has. John Morant has a negative 300, whereas Zion has a plus 500.
Negative 300. How is that possible?
Yeah. So they actually do better with him off the court.
Oh, but you know what it is, Don? I think it's because they lose so much and maybe they get blown out so much.
Yeah, and he plays in every single game.
Yeah.
So it could be the case. It could be the case.
Yeah.
But, I mean, Zion, when he's on the court, he is magnetic. Literally. He pulls everybody around him, yet still finds his own path. And that opens up options for other people. On top of that, it's just... Zion is going to be ridiculous if he has the right conditioning and learns how to freaking land.
I hope he can stay healthy for the remaining however many games he has left this season. At this rate, debatable if they make the playoffs. If they do, I'll be ecstatic, and I think you and I both will be pretty pumped up for that matchup. Lakers versus Zion. That'd be
I know Redick will be super excited. So.
Oh my gosh! You saw the zoomed in.
Yeah, I sent it to you. Remember?
Oh yeah. You're the one that sent it to me. I just thought it was so perfect. Like the camera angle. For those that don't know, the Pelicans were getting blown out by the former team of JJ Redick, which I think is the Clippers, and they momentarily just put the camera on JJ Redick as he was stretching out near the bench, and he just kind of had that far away look in his eyes where he was just completely zoned out, looking rather depressed, like the meme that goes, "Hello darkness, my old friend." It's kind of like that. And,
hey, I gotta say, man.
Yeah.
All right. No, if we look at the rest of the schedules, look at Portland's really quick. We got the Nuggets.
All right.
Nuggets tomorrow, which is a coin flip.
That's a fun one.
Yeah. Clippers, they'll probably take an L there, depending on if they rest their players. The Clippers.
Actually, I wouldn't put anything past the Clippers because who killed them the other day, right? none other than Devin Booker. He hit that clutch shot.
It's a
So-
shot. It's a lucky shot. Whatever.
But if the Suns could do it, if the Suns could be that close all the way to the
Yeah,
end
well,
of the
but
game,
that goes with the trend. Like, for some odd reason, top tier teams lose to lower tier teams for whatever reason. Like, they don't take them seriously or something like that. Like,
yeah,
I don't know.
They,
But yeah.
they play down to the competition.
Mhm.
That's true. That's true.
they got the
But, you know-
Sixers,
Yep.
right?
okay.
Which is also that's a fun game. Sixers are looking pretty solid.
You know, the truth is, I think whenever the Blazers play, it's a fun game.
Yeah, because it's almost a coin flip. It's exciting. You don't quite know if they're. It's not a guarantee when it comes to the Blazers nowadays.
Yeah,
Mavs,
and-
which I hope they lose, and the Nets, which should be an easy W to end the season.
I feel you. I feel you.
Right, and then let's look at your guys really quick.
Okay, gosh, I'm kind of worried about the Pelicans now.
Well, let's look
Or
at the Spurs.
Pelicans.
Spurs, you got the Jazz, and the Jazz have been on fire lately.
Uh-huh.
Pelicans, so I don't even care who loses there. That's fine with me.
Oh, so that's kind of a win for me. Like, I just got to go with one of them, right? I just got to hope that
Yeah,
the
you-
guy who's
Put all your eggs in one basket here.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of hedging, but I'll take it.
Then
Rockets,
you got the
Spurs. Ooh, that's going to be tough. That's probably gonna be
Definitely tough because it's speed
Jazz.
against Tech, and then Jazz again. So
Golly.
right,
Just
and
doesn't
then let's look at your fantastic Pelicans to end this
Oh,
off.
I'm dreading it. I am dreading it, my friend.
No, actually, you guys have an easy schedule. Pelicans.
No, really?
Yeah,
Let's
look
see.
at it.
Oh, wow. Kings, that's doable.
Yep.
Wizards, that's doable.
Yep.
Spurs, that's doable. Kings, that's doable.
Yeah.
And Magic, oh my God! So we could go on a streak here.
You might.
Wow.
You might.
But knowing that, you know, in all fairness, I don't know how well Lonzo Ball has been playing as of late. I haven't been watching his highlights. Maybe you have.
The one highlight I saw is he threw a damn half court pass or full court pass rather, and
To Zion?
he almost injured one of his own freaking people by
Oh, that's
putting
not-
him in a
that's
bad position.
That is not good.
Because you
Alright.
put him up there and he's basically in front of the free throw line already and running at full speed, and you got some trailers behind you. It's not a good
Okay.
position to be in.
So I looked it up. I looked up his game log for his return. He played 3 games so far, and it is rather abysmal. 4.7 points. Shooting is horrendous. He shot 2 of 13 the first game, 2 of 6 the second game, 2 of 7 the third game, which they won, I believe.
By the way, and that's with an improved shooting form.
Interpret that as you will. But to be fair though, Don, if you look at his season prior to these 3 games back, he was doing quite well from the floor. Like, it was miraculous how well he was doing. But I guess, the law of averages always comes into play. And so now we're kind of seeing the tail end of that, him dipping down to earth. But you know what? For the fans and the audience, I'll just say, I am still optimistic, maybe not as confident as I was before, but I'm still optimistic that the Pelicans can find the way, especially given the softness of their schedule. So we will keep you updated on the next pod, and who knows, by then, maybe it'll all be done and dusted, and we'll have a clear-cut idea of who will be the 8th and 9th seed.
Sure.
Well,
we'll know by next week.
We will know by next week, but until then, from DNA, from the SoCal DNA, we wish you guys nothing but the best. Stay safe out there, and peace out.
Peace.